Greetings and welcome to Hymn Stories number 68, O Love That Will Not Let Me Go. O love that will not let me go, I rest my weary soul in thee. I give thee back the life I owe, that in thine ocean depths it flow, may richer, fuller be. O light that followest all my way, I yield my flickering torch to thee. My heart restores its borrowed ray, that in thy sunshine's blaze its day may brighter, fairer be. O joy that seekest me through pain, I cannot close my heart to thee. I trace the rainbow through the rain, and feel the promise is not vain, that more shall tearless be. O cross that liftest up my head, I dare not ask to fly from thee. I lay in dust life's glory dead, and from the ground there blossoms red, life that shall endless be. The author of this hymn is George Matheson, from 1842 to 1906. The composer for the music score is Albert L. Peace, from 1844 to 1912. The tune name is St. Margaret, and the meter reading is 88.886. And the scripture reading for this hymn is Jeremiah 31:3. I have loved thee with an everlasting love. This hymn is generally considered to be one of the best-loved hymns written during the latter part of the 19th century. The writing of this thoughtful and artistically constructed text is even more remarkable when it is remembered that it was authored by one who was totally blind and who describes the writing as the fruit of much mental suffering. Born in Glasgow, Scotland, March 27, 1842, George Matheson had only partial vision as a boy. After he entered Glasgow University, his sight failed rapidly and he became totally blind at the age of 18. Despite this handicap, he was a brilliant scholar and finished the university and the seminary of the Church of Scotland with high honors. In 1886, he became pastor of the 2,000-member St. Bernard's Parish Church in Edinburgh. He went on to become known as one of Scotland's outstanding preachers and pastors, greatly esteemed in Edinburgh, where his eloquent preaching consistently attracted large crowds. Matheson never married, but throughout his fruitful ministry, he was aided by a devoted sister who herself learned Greek, Latin, and Hebrew in order to aid him in his theological studies. She was his faithful co-worker and helper throughout his life, assisting in his calling and other pastoral duties. Many conjectures have been made regarding the cause of the mental distress which prompted the author to write this text. A very popular account, although never substantiated, is that his text was an outgrowth of Matheson's fiancée's leaving him just before their marriage when she learned of his impending total blindness. Although this story cannot be documented, there are many significant hints in this hymn reflecting a saddened heart, such as the flickering torch and the borrowed ray. In the second stanza, the tracing of the rainbow through the rain. In the third stanza, as well as the cross. In his last version, Dr. Matheson did leave an account of his writing of this hymn. My hymn was composed in the manse of Enelian on the evening of the 6th of June, 1882. I was at the time alone. It was the end of my sister's marriage, and the rest of the family were staying overnight in Glasgow. Something happened to me which was known only to myself and which caused me the most severe mental suffering. The hymn was the fruit of that suffering. It was the quickest bit of work I ever did in my life. It had the impression rather of having it dictated to me by some inward voice than of working it out myself. I am quite sure that the whole work was completed in 5 minutes, and equally sure it never received at my hands any retouching or correction. I have no normal gift of rhythm. All other verses I have ever written are manufactured articles. This came like a dayspring from on high. I have never been able to gain once more the same favor in verse. The first hymnal appeared in the Church of Scotland monthly magazine, Life and Work, in January 1883. The tune was composed 1 year later by a prominent Scotch organist of his day, Albert L. Peace, who was requested by the Scottish Hymnal Committee to write a tune especially for Matheson's text. Peace's own account of the writing of this fine tune as follows. After reading it over carefully, I wrote the music straight off and may say that the ink on the first note was hardly dry when I had finished the tune. The significance of the tune name, St. Margaret, is unknown except that it is a name greatly revered in Scotland, no doubt because of the beloved Queen Margaret, who was canonized in 1251. The latter years of Matheson's life were spent in writing some of the finest devotional literature in the English language, including Moments on the Mount, Voice of the Spirit, and Rest by the River. Although this is only hymn found in most evangelical hymnals, Matheson did write a number of other fine hymns, including a thoughtful text entitled Make Me a Captive, Lord, and then I shall be free. The 4 key words or symbols of love that will not let me go are love, light, joy, and cross. These words have been described as the total fulfillment for any believer whose life is totally committed to the will of God. One could probe for considerable time and depth and personal significance of these 4 expressions. So hopefully you enjoyed that hymn story, "O Love That Will Not Let Me Go." So we'll see you in a few days in our next episode of Hymn Stories. So take care. Lord bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye for now.